It's a new year, and that means we have new features for you here at BusyBusy. New features like a location flagging report that makes it easy for you to see whenever an employee tracks time outside your project's geofence. A really cool attendance report that works with scheduling to keep track of absences and who's clocking in early or late. And now you have the option to set custom time zones when creating or editing a time entry. Stick around and I'll tell you more about these really cool new BusyBusy features. Are you looking for a report that makes it easy to identify employees tracking time outside your project's geofences? Here it is. It's our newest report found under the Verification and Safety section, and it's called our GPS Outside Project Report. It's available to all our pro users, and with this report you can view, authorize, and make note of when an employee clocks in, out, takes their breaks, or travels outside a project's geofence while on the clock. All in one easy-to-read report. No more searching through individual GPS records. When a time entry location is flagged, the employee name will appear here along with the date and time. This report shows the status of a flagged entry, which I'll talk about more in a second, the project, the maximum distance that they were outside the geofence, and then a column showing who reviewed it and any comments. You have the option to view the report by different time ranges, and you also have some great filters so you can drill down and find the information that you need. Let's talk about the status column. When a location is flagged, it's going to show up here as pending review, giving you a heads up that something isn't right and it needs your attention. To review a flagged entry, click on it and it will pull up the employee's GPS record for that entry. The banner at the top lets you know that one or more location is outside the project's geofence. And here is where you can authorize or unauthorize the flagged location, because maybe they left the job site to pick up supplies or they left to meet with a client. In that case, you'd probably mark it as authorized. But perhaps they're clocking in from home, and you'd probably want to mark that as unauthorized. Some time entries might have a few flags on it, in which case you'd want to look at them as a whole and decide if they are authorized or unauthorized. The status can be edited to override a previous label by clicking on this edit icon, which is helpful if you accidentally mark it and then you need to go back and change it. The flagging report is available on mobile under Supervisor Tools by clicking on the tab called GPS Outside Project. Here, a supervisor can review locations for his crew and decide to authorize or unauthorize them. One cool new feature is that now a supervisor will get notified every time a crew member tracks time outside their project's geofence. Also, at the end of the day, the supervisor is going to receive a reminder to review any flagged GPS locations for his crew before he clocks out. You might be wondering who has access to this flagged location report, and that's a great question. We give you control to decide which employee position can view and authorize this GPS report with a new permission found under Settings, Position, and then it is called the Authorize GPS for permission. Another option that you have with this report is the option to opt out certain employees from appearing within the report by going to the management list, clicking on the employee that you want to opt out, and unchecking the project location flagging box. You also have the option to opt out an entire project from appearing in the flagging report by going to the project management list, clicking on a project and unchecking the location flagging box. So that's our new GPS flagging report, also called GPS Outside Project. The location flagging report is a great report to trust but verify that your employees are on the job site when they should be. And it also gives you a record on whether or not those outside markers are authorized or not, so everyone is on the same page. I am really excited to tell you about BusyBusy's new attendance report, available on the web for all of our pro users. Supervisors on the job site and admin back at the office need a fast way to track attendance, and the attendance report is going to give you a report showing exactly that. It's found on the left-hand menu under Scheduling. This report is going to show you a weekly report of what time your employees are clocking in each day and marking them absent if they never clocked in at all. We know that when employees clock in late, it decreases productivity, while at the same time, if employees are clocking in too early and then sitting in their truck until starting time, it can really affect your job costing by increasing your labor costs on a project. The attendance report is a great way to keep an eye on if employees are clocking in too early for work, as well as monitor who's clocking in late. This report keeps track of all employee clock-in times. So, this report is going to be useful even if you're not using our scheduling feature. Employees that aren't scheduled will just have dashes next to the scheduled start time. But the real magic happens when you use our scheduling feature. Those employees who have been scheduled, their scheduled start time will appear here next to their actual clock-in time. The entries in red clocked in late, according to their schedule, and the entries in green clocked in early, according to their schedules. You can personally decide what shows up as late or early by going to Settings. Here you can set the on-time requirements. So if you want your report to show employees who are 15 minutes late instead of 5 minutes late, you can set that here. Under Settings, you can also choose which day starts your week in the report. And you can also hide weekends if you never have anyone working Saturday or Sunday so that your report is a little cleaner. If an employee has time off scheduled, it will show up on the weekly report, but it won't count them as absent. An absence is only counted if the employee was scheduled to work and they never clocked in. The status filter over here makes it really fast to see a list of who was absent, or a list of who was late, or who clocked in early throughout the week. There is a print option to print your attendance report, and you can also switch over to view your scheduling calendar right here. You might be wondering who can see this attendance report. Every employee will be able to see their own attendance report because every employee has permission to view their own schedule. If an employee has permission to view schedules and track time for other positions, then they'll be able to see those other employees in their attendance report. If you click on the 3-dot stack next to an employee's name, it will give you the option to view the weekly schedule for just this employee, or view the time entries for this employee for the week. When you click on an employee's name, you will see an awesome breakdown for their weekly attendance, where you can see the status for each day, what project they were scheduled for, and what project and time they actually clocked into. And then remember the new GPS flagging report that I showed you a few minutes ago? We've brought over this column from that report to give you a more complete picture of what is happening at clock-in. Maybe you notice an employee who is clocking in 15 minutes early, and by having this GPS issue column within the attendance report, you can quickly see where they are clocking in early from. Are they clocking in early from home and being flagged for it? Or are they actually clocking in early from the job site? Were they marked late because they were really late? Or did they clock in late because you called them on their way to work and asked them to swing by the hardware store and they clocked in from the store when they got there? So having the GPS status right here in the attendance report is really nice. The attendance report is amazing and I think you're really going to love it. So check it out today. One last new feature to tell you about. Let's talk about time zones. For most of you, you don't need to give time zones a second thought because here at Busy Busy, we handle time zones for you automatically, so you don't need to do anything. But there's a handful of you out there that work close to a time zone border, and sometimes you might need to change the time zone on a time entry. Now you can do that, both on web and on mobile. Let's start with web. If you need to change a time zone on a previously created time entry, just go to the specific time entry, then click on the little link here that says Show Time Zones, and then select the time zone that you want your time entry in. This will change the time zone for both the start and the end time. When you change a time zone to a different one than the time zone that you're in, you'll see little time zone initials appear above the hours. If you're manually creating a new time entry, there's a time zone option you can select if you want. On mobile, the process is the same. You can edit a time entry and change the time zone. Or when creating a time entry on mobile, you can change the time zone then. For those of you that need it, the new custom time zone option is going to be very handy. So there you have it, a new GPS flagging report, an attendance report, and the ability to customize your time zones on time entries if you need it. We'll be bringing you more in 2024, so stay tuned and stay busy.